Welcome back to the channel, Orlando Nation. We are going to talk about an interesting part of town. We're going into Kissimmee, Florida, a massive, massive section. Probably more sales, I would say second to the actual Orlando proper area. Kissimmee is most likely the largest secondary market in the Orlando metro area. And the fascinating thing, what I want to see when we look at this is going to be how are things holding up? This particular marketplace has very high FHA loans. You know, there's a lot of folks buying in this Osceola County region that are particularly interested in saving as much money as they can, you know, getting in on affordability. And when we notice over history and really recently is that most of our peaking delinquency rates are coming out of the FHA market. So how much of that is affecting the Orlando metro, particularly Osceola County, as we start to see some transition? It is now really largely undeniable. I said undeniable and irrefutable at the same time. It's hard to deny that there's recessionary pressure that's creeping into the housing market. Okay, we're starting to see it all over the market. We're starting to see in Florida that the largest markets, including Orlando, rents are coming down. We're starting to see evictions going up. We're starting to see much higher inventory levels and ultimately unsold inventory as buyers seem to be changing patterns. Maybe it's affordability. Tell me in the comments. But thumbs up the stream. I appreciate you joining me. Let me show you real quick. If you're just new to the channel, this is a channel that's dedicated really for the Orlando marketplace. This channel that you're watching this live stream on is focused on giving you data updates, deep dives all across the Orlando market, all the four counties, Seminole, Orange, Lake, and Osceola. But also my main channel, and I say my main channel, this one's been up far longer, nearly 50,000 subscribers on it. Some major statewide topics are covered on this one. I want to show you recently, early this week, if you have not been monitoring what's happening, if you're a tenant or you're a landlord, you're looking to invest in real estate, check this out. There's trouble ahead for Florida landlords. Nearly 70,000 views. That's been up for about 4 days. Over the weekend, I did a video right here, which is covering the Gulf. So all the Gulf metro areas, a lot of shifting going on from Naples all the way to Pensacola and everything in between. And then beyond that, about a month ago, there's a video update I did, deep dive on the insurance dilemma and what it looks like now after the laws have been passed. What can we expect? There has been changes. There has been improvements. If you're not up on that, you definitely check it out. Also, 3 weeks ago, most recent update with the major metros in Florida. So that's a update on Tampa and Miami, as well as the Orlando metro area at large. Big pulled back view. Now this is much more detailed. Okay, so this particular video is where I'm going to take you deep into the marketplace for Kissimmee, Florida. Which, by the way, if you're saying, Jared, where's that other channel at? This channel that talks about Florida top level things. You just search Jared Jones on TV or Jared Jones in YouTube algorithms. In all likelihood, it's going to bring up my main channel first. But the channel you're on, you're watching an update right now on Kissimmee. And let's dive in. All right, so all these areas right here, this is an inventory look, okay? So you can see all these areas are red. You can see the east side of Orlando is blue, north side is blue. And again, this is the scale of new inventory. And what unfortunately red means is that this part of the market, if you cut a line down this lower half where you're in Osceola County, you can see, and again, we're not covering St. Cloud today, but Kissimmee for sure is seeing an absolute increase in its available inventory. So take a look at it. So this chart right here that you're looking at, this is a chart going back from present all the way back to 2016. So it's a long running 8-year chart. You can see that inventory in Kissimmee has really been going straight up since March of this year. Okay. So this huge jump is really the last 4 months. Okay. This isn't uncommon. And again, we're looking at 34744. For example, let's look at 34746. So this is just north of Point Siena. You can see it. Look, folks, look at the dotted line right here. This right here represents the average of all years. Okay, so when you're down below this line, you can expect that buyers are in trouble. So if the inventory is way down here, buyers are going to have a hard time buying a house. If the line shifts way up here, buyers are in control. So this is shifting far away. We're as far away north, it looks, as back in 2022 when there was Very low inventory. There's only 102 homes on the market in 34746 back in March of 2022 before the interest rate shot up. Here we are. We've gone from 102 units to 750 units. Class kind of increases that. It's like, what, 700%, right? Very simple math. It's a big jump. And ultimately, the reason why you're seeing this is the reasons I told you before. Now, according to the app that I'm running, the home price forecast is at 28, which is very low. This is some of the lowest numbers you will see in the entire Orlando metro, which means price down. You know, this is essentially an algorithm that runs how many price cuts are you seeing? How long do listings take to sell in this market? You know, where are mortgage rates, and inventory is obviously off the charts. It's coffee and data, people. But let's move on. Okay, so out here on the west edge of Kissimmee, you're going to have the rental market area. So this is going to be Celebration towards Reunion. This is a lot of Airbnb traffic, and it is at multi. So you can see every part of this of Kissimmee we've seen. They're all 8-year highs. Okay, so it's just huge. Okay, so this is over 1,000 units from a low of 185. Okay, so this is about a 5 or 6 fold increase here in the far west edge. Did we look at all of them? 3, 4, 7, 5, 8. Same thing. Well up. I think again this is St. Cloud. Let me back away from 3, 4, 7, 1. So this is north Kissimmee northeast. This is above East Lake going towards Lake Nona, and this is 200 units. Not as bad, right? So they've gone from 44 to 200, something like that. 40, 50, they're a 4-fold increase. So, you know, well over the 8-year average, but, you know, all of them, you know, everything in the inventory category is going north, okay? Let's take a look at price cuts in this area, okay? It's fascinating. You can see that most of the area here is 24% of all homes price cut, 23%, 23% here. Buenaventura Lakes, it looks like 27%, 34743. And out over the top of East Lake, it's 23%. Interesting. That could be higher. Okay, Point Siena is 33.7%, leading the way, right? As obviously it's furthest out. Let's take a look at the home price in this area, okay? I want to look at year over year, see if we're making any corrections. Now, first of all, I see declines out west. I see Point Siena break even, which doesn't surprise me. These two areas right here, a lot of these areas that you're seeing that are not in correction yet, they look like they're still, you know, break even. Break even's not great. That means you're a month away from a falling market. But most of the markets that are cheapest, like you see these markets, Point Siena South, you're running a $220,000 average price. Down here, it's around 3. You know, so these are much well below the Orlando metro area. So these are still kind of price affordable. You know, so you tend to see a little bit more price traction, just like up here in BVL. So Buenaventura Lakes, you know, for the area, you're a few minute drive to the 417, and these are older homes. A lot of these need remodel, but they're still not seeing price correction yet. However, I'm going to show you a chart in a minute that's going to show you if that's actually changing. Because, my friends, price is a lagging indicator. Okay, so all this you see here, these are effects that have happened before now. Okay, so these are sales that you're seeing on this chart that are setting price. These are known home values. Okay, so you're looking at activity from the spring market, and right now we're looking at June data that's saying inventory's way up. It's just sky high. So you'd say, Jared, how can we see a leading indicator to see how BVL, for instance, is doing down the road? By the way, let me take you through a couple of these markets. So we got 34746, core Kissimmee market. You can see it's basically at -0. It's been here for a long time, by the way. It's just ... several months flirting with just flat, okay? But let's go out. You got Reunion. Look at Reunion. Boom. So it literally just dive bombed straight down. As soon as the interest rates look, bam, 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 bam. It's literally, it's the opposite of a rocket. What is that? Like a falling star? I don't know. Oh, that's delicious. Yeah, no bueno. No bueno. When that keeps consistently happening, you are going to see significant price. So understand, when you see this kind of stuff happening, there's people and homes in these areas that are way over a negative one, negative two. You'll see people sell in these markets a year later, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12% below prior year. Because understand, in this exact market, you're going to have pockets with high demand that are still even to last year or positive, and you're going to see places where every street in a neighborhood in the zip code, there will be communities with literally listings everywhere, and they're just jockeying to get out and prices plummeting. And those are 8%, 9% price losses. So you got to understand, when you start seeing smoke, understand there's some fire in some of these markets, okay? There's opportunity to find some discounting and things of that nature. Let's look at one of my favorite market trends, which I don't want to show you yet, which is median list price, starting prices going down. Okay. Now, surprise, surprise. Look at our little problem child over here on the west edge. 34747 is down 8% in its new set price hitting market. Okay. What's happening here is every home hitting the market in 347, I should say every home. The median home price hitting the marketplace across the board, month after month, for a very long time, has been below negative. Okay, so that means people are bringing homes to the market in January of this year. They're below January of last year. February, same exact thing. March, it's this compounding effect of lower and lower and lower prices. Okay, now what happens is, when you put a home on the market at a lower price than last year, you have to understand that homes in 34747 are probably negotiating. Are they getting full? So number one, they're asking less, which means in the future they're going to sell for less. Not going to sell for more. So right off the bat, if a home's entering the market against last year beneath it, it's going to set a closed sale beneath. It is an indicator of a future declining market. Okay. What you have to understand further than that is, how much do sellers in declining markets get against their asking price? Tell me in the comments. Do they get 3% less? Do they get 4% less? How much do they negotiate off their price in markets that are seeing a lot of inventory? You know it. You know they're not. Okay, so they start the price 5% below, or even 3% below last year. But then they have to give back 4 or 5 more. By the time it's a sold price, your future indicators, which is going to be your median sold price in this kind of environment, is going to, unless some magical thing happens in the marketplace, we call them leading indicators for a reason, because they lead what will eventually become the sold price, the lagging indicators. So look at this. You have down here in Poinciana, negative. Okay, so we are seeing Poinciana has been charting negative for quite a while. It's negative 4% in June, negative 4% in 34746. So against it, fascinating thing. Now, I'm sure if I called realtors onto this channel from Kissimmee who work this market, I've got sales in Kissimmee this year, but I don't sell a ton of Kissimmee. But I guarantee if you pull realtors that have deep business in Kissimmee, they will tell you, you know what? It's slow. We are cutting prices. We are lowering our price in order to come to the market. Look at BVL. Try telling someone in BVL this is happening, because they will not believe you probably. This isn't a knock on anybody, but you got to understand, look, your marketplace in BVL, which in history, look at history, is rarely ever, people in the Buenaventura Lakes 34743 rarely ever ask less than prior year. This is the zero line. It's only dropped below zero like a handful of times in the entire 8-year history of the zip code, in all the zip codes. So what you're seeing, folks, is interesting times. It's kind of fun to cover it. And I'm not saying it because, oh, yay, I think someone's going to get hurt in this process. I'm saying it because reporting flat data is boring. Like, it's just not fun to look at. But let's take a look at Osceola County. Okay, so I'm going to pull the county-wide. And again, Osceola County is largely Kissimmee. Majority of the sales in Osceola County are Kissimmee. But there is St. Cloud. Okay, so let's establish that. Obviously, Poinciana. But within Osceola County, and forgive me if I say Orange County a bunch of times, look at the sales data. So coming into the pandemic, you can see that most of the data here, we're running 600 to 800 units of closed sales per year. And now it's between 450 and around 700, okay? So you can see that this end of the chart, the sales are a little down. You know, it's just struggling, okay? So this is what Osceola County is facing, but this is actually what everybody in the planet's facing. The entire country is actually seeing a big drop off in buyers just buying property. So let's look at, I want to pull a few more things here for you in Osceola County. Holy cow, that's a lot. So look at this. You're running active inventory, okay? This is a problem. This is a problem. Look at this. It's straight up. It's straight up. And if you are thinking of selling your home in this market, you have to be aware that the kind of messing around that you could do in the past marketplaces, like buyers will just come, they'll just negotiate. You're in a sea of people now, okay? You're in a sea. Look at this. This is insanity. I've got this chart all the way back. Look at this. January 2020 of 2012 in Osceola County was 2,800 units. Okay, this was coming off of the great financial collapse of the last 2008. This is the end of the down cycle. And this was what stability looks like in your marketplace, 2,500 units. You're almost 4,000 units. And a second ago, you saw the chart I just showed. You saw the buying activity is way off. And there's inventory coming to the market, okay? It's unfortunate, but people that are not understanding what is going to happen when you bring your house to the market, you have to be wise. You have to be the next person out. Like in a marketplace that's just stacking more and more homes and you're jockeying for fewer buyers. It is a recipe. It is a recipe to see yourself wait on the market too long and possibly take less than you could take if you'd have sold earlier. Time is not your friend on this marketplace if you're a seller, okay? However, look at the price. It's narrowly negative right now, okay? It's narrowly. If you look at this is a flat line, okay, for the most part. But if you look down here, the story's told a little different, okay? So it's, your marketplace is declining in price, negative 4.6 in May of 2024. And I'm going to tell you, folks, the normal market cycle is a bell curve in May and June. May and June is supposed to be your top out. You're losing price in Osceola County in April and May. And I've not seen this. I'm just watching this live and sipping coffee and data with my people from Osceola. Okay, so we're watching this together, but I'm just saying, look at this. From January till May, you're negative. Not 1 month, except for January, you were 0.9. You were literally just inside of 1% of a price gain, but you're generally negative. And the problem with that is the unsold inventory is just shooting. I want to see what your months of supply is. Okay, months of supply is the measure of, if you stop listing houses, how long would it take to sell them? This is where you really have a measure of how much price is going to adjust. Now, this is the fascinating thing, okay? You actually have higher months of supply back here. You're like, Jared, what is this? How come the months of supply is nearly record high, but how come it was higher back here? Well, back here, the closings were even more pathetic than they are now. The amount of buyer interest back then versus what was for sale got really bad in 13 and 14. And so ultimately, when that takes place, your months of supply goes way up. Now, here's a problem, my friends. If you're in Osceola County, pre-COVID, you were used to anywhere from 4.5 to 3.5 months of supply. So your marketplace was, if we stop listing houses, 3.5, 4 months, all of it's gone. Okay, that's your balanced market, and you're above that now, and it's going straight up, and it has been. Okay, so since the summer, look at this, the summer of last year, it's just been more inventory, unsold, more inventory, less buyers, more inventory, less buyers, more inventory, less buyers, and it's sponsored by SpaceX. It's flying vertical. It's just going off the graph. This is the tricky part, my friends, because if this keeps going up, you are really going to have price competitiveness. And again, keep in mind, the reason I pulled zip codes is because some zip codes are adding more than others. Okay, so the zip codes further east, you have less to worry about than the ones in the west. Okay, helps you guys in Osceola County, guys and gals, I say that collectively, understand what's going on in the marketplace. Let's see if there's anything else we want to see here before we drop off this video. New listings. Are people listing in higher numbers? Oh, not necessarily. I mean, I guess it is kind of like, it's definitely peaking on this side, but I don't know. You're running around 800, 900 units a month. I don't know. I guess you are. It's like 1,200 units here. So lately it is high. Because if you look pre-pandemic, there was never a month where you put 1,200 units on the market in the entire history. So it's kind of high lately. So this is kind of the thing. This is kind of the head scratcher with the marketplace right now is buyers are out. And the sellers themselves are sitting here going, we got to sell. We got to figure this out. Like, we got to get out of the market. Buyers are out. And for some reason, if you're a homeowner and you know the climate, right? So you're an observer. You're looking at everything and you're going, let me balance everything out. On balance, there's less buyers and a lot more people like me trying to get out at the same time. If you are financially stable as an owner, are you selling in that market, or are you waiting? And I think that becomes the equation, is how financially stable is everybody in that picture, okay? Because one of my base cases is I'll look at a place like Winter Park. And in Winter Park, let's talk about affluence. And this isn't a knock on Kissimmee, but you just look at the averages of cost of house and the marketplace where your houses are, that marketplace in Winter Park, for instance, there's less trading. There's people are still, they're being still. They're patient. They're not putting houses in the market in a crazy low way. And this may be a complete disconnect. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm watching the entire economy. I'm going, what's going on? But my base case kind of is some of these marketplaces that we're seeing where it's vertical. I think the case is the home owners can't afford to hold it anymore. That's why they're selling. They're saying, my grocery bill's this, my insurance is now this, my taxes are now this. If it's rented out, I can't count on my rent going up, but I can count on my property tax going up, I count on my other things going up. My property's a pain. So you're seeing, and this is an Airbnb too. So you're seeing a bit of a drifting in income levels over the past 2 years. Okay. So if receivables are going down and you need to invest in this property and you have more cost, it's possibly taking the sellers out of the game, saying, I got to sell now. Okay. Beautiful real estate interest rate be damned, 3% interest rate be damned. It's like, I can't keep it. And on the opposite side, what do you have? Lack of affordability. This is my base case is what we're seeing in Florida. And the reason why in Florida, these numbers across the metro areas, across the zip codes and the states and everything that we're watching on both these channels, my base case is both parties are struggling to afford it. And in that scenario, tell me in the comments, in that scenario, which part is going to give way to make it affordable, okay? Because if the person on the buying side can't buy it because they can't afford it, and I also think, and tell me in the comments, do you think that there's a situation where buyers are like, I don't care to afford it. I don't like that number. Is that going on? Okay. Because something's off in the demand side and something's definitely causing a growth in the inventory, which is quite sudden, quite remarkable, and quite widely reported right now. So hard to refute it. Okay. But hey, listen, if you appreciate the update, smash the thumbs up. Make sure as many people as possible can see it. And I will see you